Hi guys, my name is Oraru and you're welcome to Oraru Africa Talk Show. If this is your first time joining us, you're very much welcome to the family. Today we're going to have a continuation on our already existing series, which is titled The Place of Knowledge. And on today's episode, we'll be talking about knowledge and character. I really hope somebody is catching what is being said because you'll agree with me today that being poor has a direct connection with your intellectual capacity. This is possible while even the same principle is playing out in all the nations of the world, as you can't live above what you know. I want to believe you all agree with me. I believe that America may still be leading the world as the largest economy on earth with a GDP gap of more than $6 trillion to its rival economy, China. While China is a $16 trillion economy, Japan is $5 trillion. So you can see that the gap between the American economy and the China economy is really big. It's way bigger than the Japanese economy. But despite the economic growth, the difference between the economies is the knowledge gap. This is where I've been trying to go, guys. What is your effort to learn and know? Do you know that those who are not so knowledgeable feels inferior before those with knowledge? Have you thought about that? You can also see that this is the way the African international relations and diplomacy flows. Look at this. A continent with a GDP of $3.1 trillion is invited by a single country in Europe with a GDP of about $2.27 trillion. And you can imagine the excitement on the faces of African leaders, and how inferior our African heads of states look before their contemporaries. You need knowledge to play big in today's world, whether you like it or not, whether you believe it or not. Knowledge is power, guys. But in all these, my concerns are these. While we blame our wars, poverty, and underdevelopment on slavery and colonization, the question that must come to your mind is, what did the average Black African person do with knowledge after the abolishment of slavery? Because all the bottlenecks against our education has been dismantled. Now, ever since the end of slavery and colonialism, what effort has Africa, Nigeria in particular, Nigeria to be specific, or yourself, what effort have you made to acquire knowledge that can enable you compete with the rest of the world? Really, not much has been done. I used to be one. Now, please, kindly bear with me now, right? This is my personal discovery that there are three types of intelligences that we must possess. And whoever is not within the radius of these three will certainly look human, but behave very much animalistic. And they would, portray these characteristics such as street fighting that nobody is paying you for. Meanwhile, when boxers fight, they're rewarded handsomely. But who pays you for fighting when boxers are paid millions of dollars? Nobody. When wrestlers fight, right, they're hugely paid, handsomely paid. But have you asked yourself once, why do you engage in fights without any noticeable financial rewards or benefits? Because only animals fight for no just cause. So, guys, journey with me. We have the IQ, EQ, and the SQ. Intelligence quotient, social quotient, and emotional quotient. Now, intelligence quotient is your measure of comprehension. This is your ability to understand something and ability to solve mathematics problems or retain information and also recall matters. Emotional quotient is your measure of ability to maintain or be at peace with others. Listen, guys. Also to be responsible, be honest, and respect boundaries. Be humble, not showing off in arrogance and pride. Very genuine and considerate. Now, the social quotient is your ability to build a network of good friends and be able to maintain it for a long period of time. Research has it that people with higher emotional quotient, that's the EQ and SQ, they tend to do better in life than those with high IQ. I'm going to explain to you why. Um, while schools in Europe, Asia, the Americas are focusing on delivering on the three intelligent blocks that makes up for the education of the person, Africa, we are focusing on just the IQ. And somehow, I don't know if it's just designed either by default or just by design, but we tend not to focus on improving the IQ levels, the emotional levels, and the social levels. That's the emotional quotient and the social quotient. Guys, follow through with me. And these are purely unattended to or outrightly played down. This is the reason why a person of high IQ can end up being employed by somebody with high EQ and SQ. This is despite the fact that the professor with very much high IQ is working and earning peanuts, while the likes of Innocent Chukuma, Bill Gates, Cosmos Maduka, Mark Zuckerberg, with no degrees, guys, are employing people with PhDs. Now, do you see what I'm talking about? So your lack of formal education may not be the reason you're being where you are now. Poor, timid, rascally, and unprogressive. It's your lack of what I'll describe as street smartness and native emotional and social quotient. Therefore, there is still so much you can still do with your life if you can just wake up right now and embrace civility. Wake up and decide. Just decide. Moreover, the same research says that our emotional quotient represents character. Check yourself now. By deep introspection, what is your character? Can you be very proud of your character now? What do you profit from? Street fighting, quarreling, rough life. Some of us have engaged in the consumption of narcotics, but the dealers of such substances, they don't consume them. Let me tell you, they don't take these things. Now, why they profit from you and destroy your life at your own peril? This is to say that character is very important as we navigate through life's journey with social quotient, which represents charisma. What is charisma, guys? Charisma simply means the ability to attract the attention and admiration of others. Are you able to attract attention and admiration of others? Ask yourself these questions. Can you say you are a leader? Look at your relationship with those you associate with. You know, is it not more of a servant and master relationship? We live in an era where nobody literally talks about character because of the love of money. It's deep, but it's the fact. So the EQ represents your character, while your SQ represents your charisma. And SQ is said to have the inbuilt resilience to make you cope and manage better, higher than those with higher IQ. Just imagine what some of us have or has deployed our intelligence on. Are you really flowing with me? Are you understanding what I'm talking about? Because the absence of EQ and SQ has left most Africans and Nigerians with heartlessness, wickedness, all sorts of violent crimes that has wrecked both victims and perpetrators. There's no human feelings amongst Nigerians. This is why people kill for money without even considering the effect of such dastardly act on their victims or the family of the victim, on even themselves or even their families. The trouble is this, like, the average black person just settled for the development of his IQ and bothered less about his or her emotional and social quotient. I don't know. Meanwhile, see, those with high IQ are also very risk averse, right? So they end up as workers, which is another form of slavery. A lot of us just want to be comfortable. We don't want to believe these things. And in the days of the slavery business or trade, the African slaves were only good as factory and farm hands. And this can be understood. But now the question is, does those situations and conditions still exist today? I believe not. After more than 150 years since the abolition or abolishing the slave trade, no, it doesn't. It doesn't, guys. The next question is, what would have been the outcome of the slave trade in terms of profits to the slave masses if the profits made from the slave or from the trade were spread in social gatherings and, funeral ceremonies? Average, it's just things the average Nigerians do today. How can you still be blaming your underdevelopment on slavery and colonization after more than 150 years and 64 years respectively, guys? No, we can't. We shouldn't. We really shouldn't. I'm going to stop here today on this episode, and we're going to have the final conversation on the place of knowledge on our next episode. Thank you so much, guys, for watching until now. I'll see you on our next episode. Bye, guys.